on, everybody? Welcome to the Power Button Podcast, episode 33. I'm your co-host, Josh Meany, and who the hell is this?
I'm your other co-host, Darren Badmouth Beasley, and today we're here to talk about important things.
Important things, very important things. You know, we recorded a whole podcast for you guys, but everything went to shit.
Yeah, it was bad.
Here's to everything not going to shit in this podcast.
Yep.
Our first topic is, I don't know if you've seen it, but Jared Leto is returning to reprise his role as the Joker in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Are you excited for that?
Excited for it? No, but I am like.
What are your thoughts on Jared Leto as the Joker? I know a lot. It's very divided. Some people really like him as the Joker, and some people really hated him as the Joker. What are your thoughts on
It's
him
hard.
as
It's
the
hard to
Joker?
say. It's hard to say what he was like as the Joker, just because. I believe, part of what makes the Joker great is the script and the dialogue.
Mhm.
You know, Jack Nicholson's script and dialogue and what they wanted him to be versus what he was able to do are two completely different things, right? Like, you can have an amazing actor in a really bad role. You know
Of
what I
course,
mean?
yeah.
Like, so, and that's the thing with Jared Leto. You know, he's an amazing actor. Was the role
Definitely
the best for him? Or not? No, was the role the best at anybody if they had to play it? You know, would we be talking as much shit as we do about Jared Leto if it was Heath Ledger? If Heath Ledger did not do The Dark Knight and instead did this one in Suicide Squad, would everyone be talking so much shit about him? You know?
Yeah.
So is it really the role and the dialogue and what they wanted him to be that people have a problem with, or is it Jared Leto? It's probably the role.
For me personally, it's like we didn't get much with Jared Leto as the Joker, but for what we got in the Suicide Squad, it made me want more,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's a pro.
Yeah.
You know, I understand a lot of people didn't like his portrayal. I wanted a completely different portrayal of the Joker.
Me too.
Either that worked for you or it didn't.
Yep.
It worked for me. I liked what he was going for, and it made me want to see more of him as a Joker. Now, once they announced this solo Joker movie, Joaquin Phoenix coming in, I was like, okay, they're probably done with Jared Leto.
Mhm.
This makes me excited.
Well,
I want to see more of him as the Joker. Like, I know a lot of people are pushing for the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. I am not. But I would like to see all the footage of Joker that got cut from that movie. Jared Leto has come out and he's like, there's a lot of Joker footage that got cut from that movie, and I would want to see that.
Yeah.
Like, what he was doing with the Joker, I actually got down with. And I was like, okay, this is different. I want to see more of this. So
Yeah.
him coming back and he's going to play the Joker again and being able to see more of him as the Joker, that gets me excited.
Yeah.
What I find really interesting is when this whole thing first came out about the Snyder Cut, there were,
What is that?
I don't know, what was that? Everybody's phone still going?
Your phone is mine?
I guess that's the only important thing,
Is
right?
mine?
Yeah, it is.
It is?
All right. That was terrifying. I don't know what that noise was.
You don't hear that often? Is it that thing up the thing
I don't know. Maybe it's my head. No, it couldn't have been in my headphones because you wouldn't have heard it.
Oh, you have a headphone in.
I do. Any fucking way. Everything seems to still be going, so hopefully we can still drop an episode. But anyway, the whole thing about Snyder Cut is when it first came out, everyone seemed to think that there was this whole Snyder Cut that was already filmed that was going to get dropped. And as more and more news has come out, Zack Snyder is completely refilming this movie. He has everyone coming back for reshoots. He even has Manganiello, I can't remember his name, the guy who plays Deathstroke
Oh, yeah.
in the DCU.
Yeah.
He's coming back for reshoots, so we're going to see a little more of him in the Snyder Cut that wasn't originally in Justice League.
Mhm.
Joker wasn't originally supposed to be in Justice League,
Mhm.
and now he's adding him to it.
Oh, okay.
So it's like
okay.
he's had time to sit back and be like, okay, I want to do this, this, and this, which I think is great.
Mhm.
He's had time to sit back and think like, okay, this is what people didn't like. Let me try to do this. Like, he's had a lot of time. So we're getting this whole new thing. I don't think Jared Leto is going to play a huge part. I think it's going to be a very small scene. But being able to see him come back as the Joker, I think is really exciting because the fate of Jared Leto's Joker was looking very grim, especially after Joaquin Phoenix came out and did an incredible job as the Joker. It was like, we probably weren't going to see Jared Leto
But the thing
come
is,
back.
though...
But if he comes back and he does really good and people take it better, maybe we will see that Harley Quinn and Joker movie
Yeah.
that was supposed to happen but then got canned. Maybe they'll end up wanting to do it
Yeah,
again.
yeah. Well, here's my thing with Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I don't classify him as the rest of them. You know, he's a bit different. Like, first of all,
A lot different.
yeah, like it's a solo Joker movie. First of all, like Heath Ledger was not. He's a solo movie. Joker and Jared Leto, Jack Nicholson don't have solo projects with them.
Right.
And again, the Joker doesn't exist without Batman. Plain and simple as that. So we're calling him the Joker, but without all the gadgets, the tricks, the mastermind, without Batman, without that arch nemesis type of, it's not really. It's like,
So you
of
didn't
course,
feel like Joaquin Phoenix was the Joker?
no,
Really?
absolutely not. Right. And
It's
but this
weird
is
because
what
to me, I really felt like that was the
Hmm.
Joker. When he finally donned the
Mhm.
makeup and everything, I was like, that feels like Joker to me. Now, is something missing? Definitely. It kind of reminded me of Venom. You know, that
Uh-huh.
felt like Venom, but something was still missing without Spider-Man. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker really did feel like Joker to me, but something was still missing, and that was the Batman.
Mhm.
Which, obviously, in the world of that Joker movie, Batman can't coexist
Can't-
with
can't.
that Joker.
Right.
No.
Yeah. No, it doesn't feel like the Joker to me because the Joker, the Joker comes out of nowhere. He knows exactly what he's going to do, and his existence is directly associated with Batman. There
Yes.
cannot be one without the other.
Mhm.
And so if you take the Batman out of it, now you explain Arthur Fleck.
Mhm.
You give him a first and last name. He has a history, he has records. And he puts his makeup on. He says, "Hey, I want you to introduce me as a Joker." It's like,
Mhm.
no way, shape, or form is this the Joker that is in the comics. In no way, shape, or form is this Joker that's in the animated films.
That's interesting.
In no way,
'Cause
shape,
that
or form.
to me, it really did feel like
It-
the Joker, but I completely agree with you. It's like
Mhm.
the Joker can't exist without Batman, but for
Right.
some, when I watch that Joker movie, I'm like, this feels like the Joker.
I think the only
and I'm
time,
like, the only not little thing, but the only thing missing from that was Batman.
right, yeah,
you know what I
I
mean?
think the only time he felt like the Joker was when Gotham was in anarchy and he kind of paints his thing,
Mhm.
and that was like kind of like a Joker moment.
Yeah, yeah.
But other than that, no, he's a schizophrenic, or he's hallucinating, and he's having these, and the Joker doesn't. He just doesn't. It's like he's got a history and everything, and the Joker doesn't. So it's hard to say. It's like really, I mean, I can't even compare Heath Ledger's Joker with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Right, which I love, and I can't even compare either one of those with Jared Leto's. And that's really what I wanted when Jared Leto was cast as a Joker. I'm like, okay, I want a completely different Joker.
Mm-hmm.
His Joker was so different,
Mm-hmm.
but I get why it would rub some people the wrong way. I
Mhm.
get why some people watch it and be like, I don't really like that. I'm like, okay, I get that. I really liked it, and I was hoping to see more of the Joker because Suicide Squad trailers came out. Joker was at the forefront, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna see the Joker. And then we've heard a lot about it. A lot of his scenes got cut, so I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, well they're gonna do this Joker and Harley Quinn movie. I'm gonna see more of them in that. Then the Joker movie comes out, and then talks about the Joker and Harley Quinn movie start to fade away. So I'm like, okay, Jared Leto's done as the Joker.
Right, right.
But then to hear Zack Snyder's bringing him in to play the Joker again, I'm hoping that kind of reamps it and kind of brings him back as the Joker.
yeah,
You know what
And
I mean?
I just
want
want
to
him
see
to be
more
with
of his
Batman.
Joker. Me too.
That's the
too.
thing. If you just get Batman in there with him, that would be the Joker. If you just have him and Harley Quinn, okay, that's cool. But again, Batman has to be a part of it.
Yes,
He has to be.
yes.
So, and that was a dope scene when he comes down the Lamborghini and the Joker and Harley Quinn are driving.
That was
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot
Is
of
it
people
that much hard to give us
even
more
if
of
you
that?
don't really like Jared Leto's Joker, I feel like that scene had to spark something in you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You see Joker and you see Batman, it's like you gotta want more from
Right,
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now he's got his fake teeth because Batman knocked them all out,
yep.
and he killed Robin with all the stuff, his suit that he met, like that. Like
and I
he
want to
goes
know more of
history
that
with him.
backstory.
Yeah,
and I want to
yeah.
know more of the history of Ben Affleck's Batman. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it was so late in his Bat career. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
I want to know more of the backstory. But if this means we can get some more Jared Leto Joker, like that excites me. You know what I mean? Even if it's just a little cameo, which it probably is. imagine he's gonna have a huge part in the new Snyder cut of Justice League.
Right,
But
right.
that excites me. Just him being able to come back, and I know Jared Leto was passionate
Yeah.
about. Obviously, we've heard the stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he was passionate about playing this character, and it's exciting that he gets to come back and play him again.
Yep.
You know, and I know he wasn't. It was very divided. Not everyone, from what I've seen, hated his Joker, but it was
Mhm.
very divided.
Yes, it
A
was,
lot
yeah.
of people didn't like it, which I understand.
Yep,
It's a
yep.
very different Joker, but it worked for me, and I was craving
Mhm.
more Jared Leto Joker. So this is exciting to me, and I'm hoping that means, he's back in talks with the DC universe.
Yeah, I'd
and
imagine.
maybe they'll do the Harley Quinn and Joker.
Well, what are they going to do
movie.
with the new Batman movie and that whole universe? Are we going to have a Joker, a different Joker again?
Maybe, maybe not. See,
know?
that's the thing a lot of people are talking about is, like, are they going to do a Joker for that universe? And a lot of people are saying, well, they could do it without Joker. But it's weird because when I think of Batman, I'm like, you have to do Joker at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he has this archive of villains, but are you really going to skip the Joker? The most pivotal person in the Batman's
Well,
life?
I think the only way you could do it is if you... Listen, the only way you could get away with that, it makes sense, I think, to satisfy the people, is if you had the Joker in different universes running simultaneously with your Batman franchise. So if this Patterson Batman trilogy, or I don't know how many movies are going to be, but let's just say it's a trilogy. Let's just say
Whatever
it will
they
be.
decide
Yeah, I
to
don't know
do,
if
yep.
it will be that.
Yeah,
or
we
not.
have no idea at this
idea.
point.
No idea. And they keep Jared Leto on doing something else, and like you said, introduces him back into the talks with DCU, and so you have him doing a different universe with a different Batman. Maybe he's doing his own thing.
That's where it becomes complicated
Then-
because
It becomes
Ben Affleck's
complicated.
out as Batman. He's coming back for these reshoots. Yes,
Right.
he's coming back for the
And-
Flash movie
And
and a
let's
little
say,
thing. But
right, and let's say they have the DCEU, the big one, right?
Mhm.
And then they have Patterson's Batman, and let's say they're actually running it at the same time. If you get the Joker up there, we don't really need him down here. We don't need two Jokers at the same time.
no.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the only way you could really get away with telling a whole Batman story without having the Joker being a part of it, is if simultaneously in a different, universe.
Yeah, could you do it? Definitely, but to me, something still feels missing. You know,
I
if
think
you
on
have
its
this
own-
Joker going on, but it's like,
Yeah.
let's say you make 3 Batman films.
Mhm.
To me, something's missing if Joker was never a part of that
Yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah.
You know, when it comes to Batman and the Joker, they're just so, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? If you never do the Joker with Robert Pattinson, something's missing to me. You know what I mean? I really want a Joker, but is
But
it
it's like,
going to
how
be
many
Jared Leto's
times-
Joker? No.
No.
Is it going to be Joaquin Phoenix Joker?
No.
No. So you would have to have another Joker, and then you get into this territory where it's like, okay, what? Now we have 3 Jokers?
Well, I mean, how many times are we going to redo Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson? How many
Right,
times are we going to redo it?
Right. It makes me so curious. Like, what is their plan exactly? I know that this new Batman film with Robert Pattinson is completely separate. It's going to be its solo thing. But it just makes me wonder, like, what is your guys' plan? Because, you know what I mean? Like, you're still going on with, like, Suicide Squad with James Gunn coming out.
Yeah.
You still have that. You're still running the universe that you started. And then you're starting these separate universes. Like, you have the Joker, which is a separate universe, which is
but
fine.
I don't think
you
they're
can
gonna do
these
anything.
separate universes with solo films. But it's like, then it starts to get very convoluted. You know what I mean? It starts
Yeah.
to get very confusing. Like,
Mhm.
what are we doing at this point?
But the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, I don't think they're not gonna do a sequel.
I don't think so either. I
No.
don't think so either. No. Which is
So-
fine. Which is fine.
Good God.
But it's just like it becomes to me problematic when it's like, okay, you're gonna have this new Batman, could be great. I'm hoping it'll be great. But it's like I feel like something's missing without the Joker, but then it's like, well, it has to be a completely different Joker. So then it's like I feel like we have 3 Jokers going on at once. And it just gets kind of I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on. I hope that this Batman meets a Joker. But
Yeah.
then it comes down to, because I want to see more of Jared Leto's Joker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would even want to see more of Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I want to see more
I
of
would
what's
too.
going on with him.
I would too.
But it's like his Joker doesn't. Bruce is too young in that movie. Joker's going to be too old by the time
but
Bruce
that's the
is
thing.
Batman.
We're
so it
calling
gets so...
him Joker, but it doesn't have to be. He could be Arthur Fleck. That's
Right.
really
Well,
what
there's
he's about.
speculation
You
that
know?
like this Arthur Fleck Joker inspired the Joker that will be going
Yeah,
against
yeah.
the Batman, which
Yeah.
I actually like.
I like that
I
too.
think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They could do something with that.
They could do something like that.
They
Yeah.
could, like this
But if
Arthur
you're
Fleck
saying
could
that you-
exist in the new Batman that's coming.
Yeah,
out.
yeah. If you're saying that we want more Joker, Joaquin Phoenix Joker, I understand what you're saying, but it's
Mhm.
like, if you really think about it, it's like we want more Arthur Fleck
Mhm.
because he's not like the Joker. Heath Ledger does not
different.
have a
He's
name.
different.
Jack Nicholson doesn't have a name. Jared Leto doesn't have a name.
Although
He's the
me
Joker.
personally, I would like to see Arthur Fleck going against the Batman. It wouldn't make
Yeah.
sense because of the age. We saw Bruce Wayne in that movie. He's so young. But I would be so interested because he's such a different Joker to see
Mhm.
that Joker going against the Batman.
I don't know
Like,
what
how
he'd
would
do.
he handle it? How would he
But
go
he's not-
about
he's
it? You know
not-
what I mean?
He's not comic book like.
No, he's not.
So he,
But that's
you
what
know,
intrigues me about it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
what-
Like,
yeah, I
how
don't know
would
what he's
this
gonna do.
Joker go against a Batman, a guy who dresses up like a bat?
I
The
think it would just
theatrics of
clash.
it.
I don't think it would mix well.
You don't think so?
No, because he's just gonna shoot him. Like you really, what is he gonna do? You have a stick of dynamite and throw it in it. That's not Arthur Fleck. That's not who he is. He's
Mhm.
more realistic, down to earth. I mean, even Heath Ledger.
I mean,
was-
we could flesh out this character even more, though.
absolutely, but then you start to kind of get away from the original Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
It
movie,
could be more development.
You know, well,
We could see where this character goes.
Okay,
you know?
okay, let's
where
say,
we
for example-
left him at the end of the Joker. I mean,
well, let's
he
say,
could start to become more of the Joker that we're more familiar with.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
well, let's just think. He doesn't have the same, like Heath Ledger. When he opens his jacket up, he's got a pin. He's got
Mhm.
all the grenades. Arthur Fleck doesn't think like that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like
But
he just
what I'm saying
doesn't.
is maybe we could get there.
I
Maybe
highly
not
doubt
in the
it.
same exact way, but there could be more character development for this Joker that we got Arthur Fleck.
I
You
think
know what
there-
I'm saying?
yeah.
Because even the way it ended, I'm like, I feel like there's more. There's
I
more
think-
to this
I think
character.
I think there could be more to him, but to get to the point where if Batman enters the scene that there won't be a huge culture clash, I don't see that.
Really?
And he wasn't made to be like that.
No, he wasn't.
You know what
He
I'm
wasn't,
saying? So
which
we're
is
going to
very
change
interesting.
him
That's
fundamentally.
what sparks that interest in my mind. You know what I
Mm.
mean? How would this Joker that we got with Joaquin Phoenix deal
Mm-hmm.
with a man who dresses up like a bat?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? How would he deal with that character? I would like to see that. Do I want... Now, I feel like the Joker was so perfect. It's one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. It's
Is it a comic book movie?
yes, it is because it's a comic book character. So I would call that a comic book movie, and it transcended the genre. You know what I mean? The
Uh-huh.
fact that you're sitting there saying, "Is it a comic book movie?" Exactly. That's what
Mm.
transcended it. You know, we're using comic book characters, but now we're sitting here like, "Is this a comic book movie?" Yes, it is, but
Mm.
we're expanding it now. So to have this character that we had with the Joaquin Phoenix, like that's so different. I'm just so interested to see how he would deal with a Batman.
Well, see, that's actually kind of goes against what I'm saying because Batman's so comic book
Mhm.
and Arthur Fleck is so not comic book, although he is.
That's what sparks
he
my
is-
interest.
yeah, and I
That's-
understand
Yeah,
that.
because I understand completely. Like this Joker that we got, this didn't feel like
right.
a comic book.
Right. Okay, but see what I'm saying when I ask, is this comic book? Is it a comic book movie? Or is that what you said? Is it
I
comic
think
book?
any movie that you use a comic book character would be a comic book movie.
Yeah,
and that's
see-
what I feel like transcended the genre to the point where we're asking, is this a comic book movie?
Right. But,
Well, yes, because we have this idea of what we think comic book
But-
films are.
like, I mean, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think, and maybe we just disagree. I don't know if there's a legitimate term for it. Maybe that's a legitimate term. If you have a character from a comic book and you put it in a movie, it is technically a comic book movie, perhaps.
Right. That's what I feel
But-
like transcended the
but-
genre.
Right.
To
But what I'm
make it
right.
more grand.
Well, what I think is what makes a comic book isn't just the characters in it. It's the way the characters react to each other in a graphic novel that is different than any other novel or book that you read or any movie that you see.
hmm
So and that's the reason why there's a genre comic book movie genre.
Right.
And so
That's
it-
where
it-
the transcendence
and so
takes
when we
place.
talk
You know what I'm
about
saying?
the transcendence, it's like if we take in my opinion, it's almost like a transition more than a transcendence. A transcendence is like the Dark Knight trilogy. because we took comic book characters and kept a comic book theme, but we
Took it to another level.
we took it to another level, but it was still very comic book. The whole thing was still very, like I said, with the Joker when he pulls out and he's got the thing, it's like this is still a comic book movie, but it's in a new way. Whereas Arthur Fleck, if you swapped him out with a different name, you know what I mean? It's like it's comic book. It's comic book on one variable, and that only variable is the name of the characters. Other than that, you've created a whole new character.
Exactly, but that's what I feel like transcended the comic book genre. Like now it's like you think of comic book movies, you think of a very specific type of movie, but it's like this movie took a comic book character and did
put him
something
in something
completely
different.
different that didn't even feel like a comic book movie, but you're using a comic book character.
But you know what I'm saying, though?
I do.
Is it really a comic book movie?
I believe that it is.
Okay.
I believe if you use any comic book character, you're making a comic book movie, but now we're making the genre not so tight. Not so it has to be like this. It has to be like that. It's like, no, you're using a comic book character and you're making a type of movie. You can make a heist type movie. You can make New Mutants was on the road to that. New Mutants sucked. But they tried to make a horror type movie. Now it's like you're using comic book characters to make these different genres. You're transcending the word comic book movie and you're making these different types of movies using comic book characters.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if this is right or wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like any movie that you use a comic book character is a comic book movie, and I like the idea of making completely different genres with comic book characters. You can make a heist movie, you can make an act.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I
saying?
agree with that. I think that I think a comic book movie means more than just the characters in it. I think a comic book movie has certain elements in it that make it's directly associated with comic books in general. That's what I think.
Which I see completely, and I feel like transcending it takes it away from that, and that's what I like, because there is this idea, like comic book movies have to be like this, comic book movies have to be like that, and then in my mind, if you use a comic book character, you're making a comic book movie, and you're transcending the genre
let's say,
by doing something completely different with that character.
Let's say you have a movie that's like a comic book movie, but it has no comic book characters.
Okay.
You see that's what I'm saying. Like there's a certain feeling to it. It's like a horror movie has to have certain things in order for it to be a horror movie. An action movie has to have certain things. So I would say a comic book movie has to have certain things. I mean, yeah, of course, one of them being comic book characters, right? I mean, but the idea that
I completely understand that. I really do get that.
It has to be like there's a feeling when you go see Spider-Man. There's a feeling to it.
Where
you know?
Transcending comes in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're taking comic book movies and you're widening the variety of what it could be.
I think you and I can't get on board with the transcending idea because I can't get on board with the idea that it's considered a comic book movie. If you're going to take me to B, I have to agree with A, and we disagree on A. You see,
where we disagree is I feel like any movie that uses a comic book character
is a comic book movie, and I don't think so.
Which I understand. Because there's a very strict, like, what comic book movies are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I feel like Joker transcended comic book movies.
And I feel about the Joker is that it's not really a comic book movie because you just named a character the Joker, but all of the elements that make the Joker, you've sort of removed except for the face mask. I mean, the face paint and his fatal.
It's crazy because what you're saying completely it adds to what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it adds to your transcendence thing. Yeah. It's
making like comic book movies. Now we're using comic book characters and we're making different movies. Now, comic book movies aren't just comic book movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I just think you're fucking wrong.
That's understandable, though. No, I completely get that. But that's I said, that's why I feel like Joker transcended comic book movies, because comic book movies were such a strict thing.
Well, Josh,
and then Joker came out, and I'm like, okay, you're using a comic book character. How can a comic book character
understand what you're saying.
Not be a comic book movie?
I understand what you're saying. Here, let me make this more difficult, right? Let me attack your rationale.
Fucking great.
Let's say someone came up with a Okay, no, actually, we're gonna do like that meme with Patrick Star and the wallet, whatever.
Mhm.
Because if I can get you to agree with this, then maybe I can get you to think about it in a different way. Not even that you're wrong, but just think about this, right?
Mhm.
You know that Arthur Fleck and the Joker are two. You would recognize them as two different characters.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that's true, can we take any character and say they're a comic book character?
If they're from a comic book, yes.
Okay. So is Arthur Fleck from a comic book?
No, but he's portraying a version of the Joker who is from a comic book.
You see what I'm saying? It's like if the character is not from a comic book, but we can make him act as though he is like a comic book character.
Mhm.
You see how it gets kind of blurry?
I understand.
I mean, what's to stop someone from saying, "Hey, we're going to make a movie," and I understand that Deathstroke is a DC villain,
Mhm.
but I want to have a character in this movie that's going to have the same name, and it's going to be kind of like
have the same
Deathstroke?
traits?
Yeah, like kind of like the same traits.
That to me makes it a
And-
comic book movie.
And so that's confusing now though, because let's just say a
And
character
it's crazy because
is-
I understand that, but once you start you're using a comic book character, using the
Uh-huh.
comic book traits,
Well, that's the thing.
that makes it a comic book
Well, that's
movie.
the thing,
And then
okay.
once you do something completely different, that's transcending
Okay,
the
so-
genre of
okay.
a comic book film.
So you'd have to cut some of the fat off the bone of what you're saying, because now what you're saying is even if the character isn't from a comic book like Arthur Fleck, it's as long as he is portraying a comic book character that it qualifies as a comic book character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay.
And I understand completely where you're coming from. Completely. You know what I mean? I could see you looking at the character of Arthur Fleck and being like, well, that's not really the Joker. But
Mhm.
in my eyes, it is because he has a lot of traits of the Joker. Plus, he's calling himself the Joker. Plus, it's based off the Joker from the comic book genre. To me, that's the comic book.
To you, that's
a
good
comic book
enough.
film.
That's the thing,
And that's
that
why I
makes
feel
it-
like the Joker specifically transcended the comic book genre.
Mhm.
This debate that we're having specifically is what transcended it.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, now we're talking about films that people are like, okay, well, this doesn't feel like a comic book film. This doesn't look like a comic book film, but it is. He's the
okay.
Joker.
Right. But I'm debating you if it actually is or if it isn't, because I'm saying that it isn't, and you saying
But
that
it is.
You see what I'm
And
saying?
that's what they're
But-
giving us.
Okay, but you
that's
see,
what they're telling us. This is the Joker. This is our story of the Joker.
Right, but
it may be different from what you know, but this is the Joker. Therefore, it
but you see,
is
you see
classified
where
as a comic
you
book
see
film.
where the Red Sea has been split now.
I do.
You're saying it is one, and I'm
Mhm.
saying that it isn't one. So I can't get on board with saying that it's transcending, and just this conversation is making it transcendent. I can't get on board with that because I'm not even viewing it as that. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't look at it.
And
that way.
it's weird to me. I feel like they succeeded in what they were doing.
And
right
I think
there.
they succeeded in what they were doing, but I think what they were doing was trying to make a movie, in my opinion, a lot less about the Joker that we know, and making a comic book movie, and taking a character that is very popular that everybody knows, so to say, and associating it with a movie where it doesn't need to be associated with. The elements in Arthur that are associated with Arthur Fleck are not intrinsic to the Joker himself. And therefore, you can make an argument that Arthur Fleck can exist in a movie, the exact same movie, with a different name and with a different sort of environment, with a different sort of thing, and pull it off successfully. I think the themes that make it important are not about we want to actually portray the Joker accurately, or we want to give this is our version of the Joker. I mean, one could even make a compelling argument that they only called it the Joker because they knew the Joker was going to give them more people were going to go see it because it was called the Joker.
But I think he had a lot of traits of the Joker that we know.
I think he definitely had traits of the Joker that we know.
Because like I said, when he donned that outfit and donned the makeup, I I looked at him, and from what I'm hearing, it's kind of different. I looked at him and I'm like, that's the Joker.
He had this swag and everything.
Even his mentality to me.
Yeah.
When he's on that show with Robert De Niro, I can't remember his name in the movie.
But I was
like, Murray. I was like, this is the Joker. That felt like the Joker to me. It really did. And I feel like as long as you hit that point for me, and obviously it's not like that for everyone, but you hit that point for me where I felt like that's the Joker. How can I not say that's a comic book film? You're making me feel like that is the Joker. Is it the same Joker that I've seen over and over? No, but I hit a point in that movie. I'm like, I feel like you're the Joker. So how can you not be a comic book film?
Yeah, I see that. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think we're having a debate about a subjective topic. You know, it's like, is the color purple? Well, I don't know. I kind of like this.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I feel like transcended the genre. The fact that we're even having this debate.
I know that. I
know
that's
what I'm
how
saying?
you feel.
Like, you took a comic book character and you made two guys sit here and debate that. Is it a comic book film? Like, exactly. That's what I wanted to happen to the comic book genre.
Right.
Like, that we feel like it's not even really a comic book film that we know, you know what I mean, that we're used to, and that's what I wanted to happen, basically. But yeah
damn, how much time do we have?
not much time. We spent about a half hour on this.
Well, it was good.
Topic. It was good.
Well, I want to talk about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
do you see like the new DLC characters are coming out?
No, Burrow was supposed to talk about movies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, never mind.
What are we talking about after?
No.
I got some other dumb shit to talk about. But, okay. So we talked about Jared Leto as a Joker. We're on to our next topic. Our next topic is we got our first look at Tom Holland as Nathan Drake. I sent it to you.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
You saw it. What are your thoughts on Tom Holland as Nathan Drake?
I think he looks kind of like a young Nathan Drake.
Yeah, that's what he is. That's what he's portraying.
A young Nathan Drake?
That's the point of the movie. He's a young Nathan Drake.
Okay, yeah.
But when I first saw that picture, I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've only played Uncharted 1 and 2. It's the only two I've played, so take that into consideration. I'm not huge on this franchise, but when I saw that picture of Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
That looks like a young Nathan Drake.
I think it does look like a young Nathan Drake. That picture of him, I beat the first one, played the second one.
I beat the first two, and that's as far as I got.
Yeah, and I played the Thief's End, the fourth one. Which
I heard was really good.
I
heard the fourth one is really good, which I've got to check it out.
I heard it was really good, but then I couldn't, because Naughty Dog makes The Last of Us 2, and I mean, hands down. Like, listen, if I'm going to shoot somebody in a video game, it needs to be as real and gritty and awful as it possibly can. And in Uncharted 4, the same developer with the same graphics, same kind of, mechanics and everything, you shoot someone, it's like, it's so marketed. It's like Call of Duty. It's so, like, not, like, heavy, and so I played it for, like, maybe 2-3 hours.
You didn't get into it?
Can't do it. Yeah. Because it's just the mechanics aren't. It's like, it'd be different if it was a completely different developer in a completely different studio and nothing was similar, wasn't PlayStation, totally different. Then maybe, but after playing
Uncharted reminded me, I'm probably going to get killed for this, but Uncharted really reminded me of Tomb Raider. When I played the first two, I was like, this feels like I'm just playing Tomb Raider with a guy.
Oh, see,
I think really what it felt like to me. The newer Tomb Raider games. That's what it felt like to me.
I think it was kind of like Tomb Raider, except Nathan Drake has a personality in Tomb Raider. Lara Croft, within the last 3 big games that they made, doesn't have a personality. She's so flat and plank that it's like, that's actually part of the reason why I couldn't get into it.
What is it? The first Tomb Raider game, the newer Tomb Raider game, I loved. I thought it was great.
I thought it was great.
I played the second one, and I'm like, I feel like I'm playing the first one with new maps.
Yeah.
That's really what the second one felt like to me. But what do you think of Tom Holland playing a young Nathan
back
Drake?
to movies, right? We just went off about video games. I think it would have to be a really damn young Nathan Drake to be portrayed that way, and I think you would have to like, he's wearing the gear that Nathan Drake would wear.
He looks like a young Nathan Drake.
Yeah, but he's got that face, and it's like, well, how young, because he looks younger than he would be in the first game. He looks
he is.
younger.
This is taking place
Yeah.
before the games. My main question is, how long was Nathan Drake fired?
That's what I'm saying.
That's the question that
like he's
raises.
got the pistol
yes.
thing, and I'm like,
It's like,
ah.
okay, well, you're telling me you were dope before the first Uncharted game? Because, like I said, I played the first
I would
two
imagine,
Uncharted games.
yeah, because
and I'm like, okay, so you were doing missions and you were doing stuff
because
like
the beginning of the first game starts on a boat and there's people shooting at you right off the bat. So he had already been in the thick of it. You start off in the middle of the ocean on some treasure hunt in the first game. So he's already been in it for years. So it definitely makes sense.
It sucks that Tom Holland looks so young
He
to
looks
me.
so
and
young.
it sucks because he's our age, dog.
I know.
He's our age, but he looks so young, which is great for Spider-Man. Because he can play Spider-Man for the rest of our goddamn lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But seeing that first picture of him as Nathan Drake, I was like, yeah, he looks like a young Nathan Drake. And then I saw some pictures of Mark Wahlberg. He's playing Sully, which is funny because he was originally attached to play Nathan Drake.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Wahlberg, yeah. And he was the one trying to get this movie going. Now seeing him play Sully is kind of funny because I never saw a Mark Wahlberg portraying Sully. That's kind of weird to me. I see Sully as older, even with a young Nathan Drake. I still see Sully as an older guy, not a Mark Wahlberg. But
well, you can make Mark Wahlberg look a little bit older.
You could. I've seen some pictures of him, and he just looks like Mark Wahlberg with a mustache.
Yeah.
To me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if we rewind the clocks 20 years.
I'm interested to see, because I saw the pictures of Tom Holland as a young Nathan Drake, and I bought it. As soon as I saw the picture, I'm like, yeah, that's a young Nathan. That's it. And I like that Tom Holland is playing other characters. Like, I haven't seen The Devil All the Time, which is a new movie on Netflix. I've heard a lot of good things about his portrayal of the character that he plays, and I like that he's playing other characters. Because a lot of the Spider-Man actors fall into this, like, curse. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you play Spider-Man, it's like it's hard for you to play other characters. So I like that Tom Holland's expanding his
not for Tobey
horizons.
Maguire.
Kinda. I mean, what else has he played besides, the Gatsby movie and Brothers?
Yeah.
What else?
That's it. In Spider-Man.
You know, they kind of fall into this, it's hard to get other roles type thing. Even Andrew Garfield, like, he played in that movie, A Social Network, about Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
But that was before Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, which I watched actually recently for the first time. Great fucking movie. Have you seen Social Network?
Yes, yeah. The Social Network with the Facebook
movie.
thing. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was a really good movie.
Yep.
But it's like after that, he did, I think, one movie with Martin Scorsese and he did a movie with Mel Gibson. But they aren't huge. And it's almost like there's this curse, like you play Spider-Man, it's hard for you to get these other roles, which I understand, especially for someone like Tom Holland. He's so young. And the role that he is playing in Devil All the Time, I haven't seen the movie, but from the trailers, looks like a completely different role from things that he's played.
Right.
So I like that he's playing these other roles, getting these other roles, taking these other roles.
Yeah.
So Nathan Drake, like, that's good for him. You know what I mean? They come out with this Uncharted movie. Hopefully it does great. Hopefully he can do other things besides
I don't
Spider-Man.
think it will do good.
You don't think so?
No, because again, it kind of ties in a little bit to the Joker. One could make a compelling argument about the Joker that they only called it the Joker because they knew it was going to sell some tickets. So one could only say the same thing about Uncharted. You're only making an action adventure RPG Indiana Jones type movie and calling it Uncharted because you know that Uncharted is a popular franchise. You don't actually have a passion for art, cinema, or the video game franchise. You just want to make money, and therefore you just make another action movie. Listen, what makes Uncharted dope is the fact that it's a video game that you play and gameplay mechanics. You translate that into movie. We've seen this movie 1,000 times before. Mission Impossible, Indiana Jones, Tomb Raider.
I agree 100%. As soon as I saw that he was playing Nathan Drake, I'm like, okay, we're getting a movie that we've kind of seen before. You know, we're getting the male version of Tomb Raider. That's what Uncharted really seems like to me. You know, like, taking into consideration, I've only played the first two. Right. But from those first two, even the games just seem like a male Tomb Raider game to me. So when you have this movie, it's like, okay, we're just getting a male Tomb Raider. But I
Well,
like that he's taking other roles. You know what I mean? I want to see him do more. Like Tom Holland is a good actor.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I
just
seeing
don't
him
think the movie's
play
gonna do
Nathan
well.
Drake, you don't think so?
No.
I hope it does well because there's a curse on video game movies. You know what I mean?
Is it a curse?
Video game
I don't think
movies
it's...
don't end up being that fucking
And I
good.
think part of the reason
which
why they
sucks.
don't end up being good is because you can't. Gameplay does not translate to the screen.
It does not. It does not. And then they're doing they now have an Assassin's Creed Netflix show coming out. It's like we'll see because I was wicked excited about the Assassin's Creed movie. I was like, "Oh fuck." You know what I mean? Like Assassin's Creed, that's something you can translate if you do it right. I saw the Assassin's Creed movie.
Wow.
You had the right actors.
Oh yeah.
Dog, that movie sucked.
Yeah, that movie's garbage.
It was so bad.
I heard it was.
And it was like, how did you do that? Even with Doom, they made a movie of Doom. You can make a good Doom movie.
How though?
How not?
But Josh, all Doom is
Just make it like it doesn't have to, because you're not only trying to get people who played the game to watch the movie. That's not your main goal. You're trying to make a good movie. You have a good concept. Even with Resident Evil,
okay, but wait
you
a minute.
have a good concept
wait a
that you
minute.
can make with these movies.
Now you might have something with Resident Evil, right? But Doom, surely not.
You don't think
Surely
so at
not.
all? You don't think they could make a good movie out of the concept of Doom?
Doom. Wait a minute.
I feel like Doom is close to Dead Space.
No. No, wait a minute. Okay, you gotta let me get this out for a second, right? Doom, the whole thing, the whole entire experience is one character going through hell, eliminating demons and monsters. There is virtually no other
movie out of that.
No other character other than the demon slayer, who doesn't speak, by the way, slaying demons. Your movie
Make him speak.
Okay. Your movie is gonna have to not really be Doom. You're just calling it Doom because you want the
And you
people
can have
to
some
come.
of the same concept. It almost brings us back to the,
but you see what I'm saying?
to the
But that's
Joker
not
thing.
really Doom, though. You know what
But
I mean?
it could be. You can still have the same concepts and still come up with a good fucking story. How can you not make a good movie out of that concept? Same with Silent Hill. Like the first Silent Hill movie.
That's got a whole.
It was pretty good. Second Silent Hill movie sucked. But
Yeah.
you have these concepts that I feel like you could build a good fucking movie out of.
But, but you have
Like,
to have a video game. Like there's certain video games that make better movies than other ones.
Mhm.
So what would make a bad video game movie translation?
Maybe trying to go too much towards the video game.
No, I just mean like from a video game standpoint. Like if you're saying that some video games would make better movies than other video games, why is that?
Some people fumble on the story.
Well, let's say you had Kevin Feige behind it, who's going to nail the story. And the story was already taken care of. I'm just talking about from a video game standpoint. Just a video game standpoint.
See, that's where I feel like these video game movies fuck up. Okay? You're trying to appease the video game fans too much. Leave them alone. Take this concept from the video game and just make a good fucking movie.
But okay, but the
like you're trying to appease to these video game fans, and it's like, no, video games and movies are completely fucking different.
That's
They're
true.
completely different battlefields. You need to look at this like a movie. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Look at the second Silent Hill film. I don't know if you remember it, but it
I
very
saw it.
much tried to appease to the video game fans. That's where it
But
failed.
the first one did too.
Not as much as the second one. The second one almost dropped everything around it to just appease to video game fans. It said, fuck the story. It said, fuck the story.
But the
first
story
Silent
is
Hill film.
But the story is a key part of the video game. If you're going
you
to
can take elements from that. Same from Dead Space. You can take that. You can make that a movie, and I believe you can make a good movie out of that.
right,
But if you try to appease to the video game fans simply,
okay, right,
you're gonna end up with a kind of a shitty movie.
Okay,
that's
look,
just gonna be the end game of that.
Yeah, but you got concepts kind of colliding a little bit. Okay, on one hand, you're saying, well, they're appealing. Let's just say Silent Hill 2, the movie,
Mhm.
Revelations, whatever it was called. You're appealing to the video game people, right?
Mhm.
And they said fuck the story. We're just
It
going to
said,
appeal to
"Fuck
the
the story."
what I'm saying is that the story is a big fundamental part of the game. If you're going to
So
appeal,
focus
if
more
you-
on that.
but if you're going to appeal to the video game fan base,
Mhm.
the story's prominent. The story's prominent.
Right.
So you can't say that they appealed to the video game fan base and ignored the story. That's not appealing to the video game fan base.
But what I'm saying, they're appealing to more of the characters. They're trying to show you these characters from the video games that you remember. Oh, you remember this moment in the video game? Let's try to show you that. But take Dead Space is such a perfect example. I think they should do a movie on it. I really do.
But, Josh,
But I feel like if they do try to do a movie, they're just trying to show you these characters. They're trying to show you Isaac. They're trying to show you the monsters in it. But think about the actual story that's going on. Take more focus on that. The thing that makes these video games fail is that they're trying to appeal to the video game people. You know what I mean? They
Okay.
want to show you these characters.
yeah, and
They want to
see,
show you this. Think about the story. Try to flesh it out. Try to make it fit into more of the movie genre. You gotta
Yeah.
twist it. You gotta turn it. You gotta make it into more of a movie.
Yeah.
But it's like they go in and it's like, okay, the video game fans, let's show them this. Let's show them that. Let's show them that. Fuck that. Make it a movie. Make it a fucking movie.
Right. Okay.
That's what I'm
listen.
saying.
What I'm saying is certain video games translate to movies better than others, and that is
Easier.
I
I would say easier than others.
easier than others. And I say that is because of the way the video game is structured. Like,
Okay.
if you took a Dead Space game, and it's just Isaac Clarke, let's say the first one. They
Mhm.
have a movie, by the way. It's an animated movie. It's not a live action movie. The
Right,
animated
right.
movie that they have for Dead Space is absolutely incredible. Isaac Clarke is not in it for 1 second.
Mhm.
And I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
Right? It's like, so they're appealing to the video game people. It's only in a video game, right? So it's the fan
It's
base.
an animated movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but you have
That's not going to work on the big screen.
Well, they could take that animated. Oh wait, what's not going to work on the big screen? Just Isaac Clarke.
That movie that they made.
No,
That's
that
not gonna work on
animated
the big
that
screen.
animated movie will work on the big screen.
think so?
In fact, that would be one of the only ways you'd be able to do it. Now, every video game is different. So if we jump to a different video game, we're
Mhm.
talking about a completely different story. Silent Hill's got a lot of history, a
Mhm.
lot of characters, a
Mhm.
lot of story.
Same with Resident Evil.
Same with Resident Evil. There's so many
Which it
elements.
baffles me that they keep fumbling.
They keep messing it up. There's so many routes you can go down to get a good Resident Evil movie.
Mhm.
But things like Doom, not so much. Not so much. You know?
You can make up a story that works in that universe.
Yeah,
you
but
take
that's
the
not
basic
really...
concept, but then you do something.
Okay,
different
wait a minute.
with
Wait a
it.
minute. I am fully on board with what you're saying. I am fully on board with what you're saying. I
Mhm.
think you're underestimating how bare bones Doom is. I think you're underestimating how bare bones. It's not like Halo, right? Like
No.
Halo is Master Chief, but Master Chief's a
The
character.
stories don't go as
huge
deep
universe.
as Halo. They don't go as deep as Resident Evil.
Doom doesn't
No,
go deep
but
at
you
all.
can take that concept and make something out of it. You have this baseline. It's like, okay, this is the world that we're working in. Let's make a dope story in that world. Is that so hard to do?
But with Doom,
Is it so hard to do? You
well,
really
Josh,
think it's
what's
that
a
hard
Doom,
to do?
What's a dope Doom movie?
I don't know because I'm not a filmmaker.
But you know what I mean? Like, okay, all you have to work with,
Mhm.
literally no exaggeration, the only thing you have to work with if you're making a Doom movie is Doomslayer who doesn't speak.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you make him talk and he's saying all this dialogue and stuff, that's not really Doom because Doom doesn't have much.
But you're using the world of Doom. You're using.
Okay,
You
so
have
let's
this
use the world.
baseline.
Let's use the world. All
Same
you
with
have.
Resident Evil. Same with Dead Space.
But-
you have
but-
this baseline you could
Okay,
work with,
I
and
am
then
not-
bring in these filmmakers to make a
I-
good fucking film.
I am not debating what you're saying. I am only debating you on Doom specifically.
Mhm.
That's it. Not the process at which.
So you're debating me on exactly making a Doom film off Doom 1, Doom 2.
or just I'm just
Okay,
talking about.
Then I understand. Okay, maybe you can't make the greatest movie out there, but you
No,
have
I
this
can't.
baseline. You can make a movie in the Doom world. and you can still call it Doom.
But without
But that brings us
Doom
all the way
Slayer,
back to the Joker thing.
Right,
It brings us all the way back where we're
It doesn't make sense.
where we're indifferent. But
Yeah.
you can use that world and still make a good story. That's what I like about what they did with Joker. What I like when they're transcending comic book films. You have this baseline, okay? You're gonna use this character, this type
Right,
of
and I'm
storyline,
down
but
with
you're
that.
gonna
Yeah, yeah.
create your own thing. Bring in these filmmakers, bring in these writers. Make something dope out of this. You have a good concept. Even if you make a Dead Space live action movie, it doesn't have to be Isaac Clarke. You have this baseline,
Yeah.
this
And I understand that.
world that you can build
Yes.
in.
Wait,
Star
we
Wars
agree with this.
especially, but
We
that's
ag-
not even
we,
fair.
We completely agree on this. All I'm saying is that I cannot take that rationale that you're lying out, which
Mhm.
I agree with. Right? I cannot even take that to Doom. I couldn't.
You can't take it to
Because-
Doom whatsoever.
But here's the thing, Josh. Doom is just the Doomslayer killing demons in hell. That is it. If the gameplay sucks, that game is garbage. There's
Mhm.
no concept. There's no story. There's barely any dialogue. In fact, the developers got criticized because they didn't want to put cutscenes in the game. The fans said, no cutscenes. We do not want cutscenes. We do not want a story. We just want demons in hell to kill, and we don't want
That's
talking
fine.
in
And
dialogue.
You're not
And-
you're not going in to appease those people.
So if you make a
You
Doom
can
movie,
take that
wait a minute,
baseline
Josh.
of
If you make a
Doom
Doom
and still
movie,
make something good.
if you make a Doom movie without Doom Slayer,
Mhm.
all
it
you
Doom?
hell,
Is that the question?
all you
you're-
hell, all you have is hell, right? Hell, the demons coming from hell or whatever, coming to Earth. That's it. You could make a movie with demons coming to
You're
Earth.
saying you can't call
Just
it
because
Doom.
you're calling it Doom doesn't make it Doom.
Okay. 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 I see what you're saying. And I'm saying you can take that baseline.
But that's
and
just
still
with
make
Doom,
it,
though. That's
but
just with Doom.
Now we're talking about what you can call Doom and what you can't call Doom.
Yeah, how far can you push
And
it
that's a
before
different
it's not?
debate. That's a different
yeah,
debate.
yeah.
And I'm kind of with you on that.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
Yep.
We're 50 minutes in.
Yes, that's GG.
We gotta end this shit.
Yep.
It's a good podcast.
It was a good podcast.
It was a really good podcast. We're sweating. That's all we got today on episode 33 of the Power Button Podcast. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. Don't
Yes.
unsubscribe just because you didn't like what the fuck we said.
right.
That's all we got today. Be sure to check out the J Meanie review. Check out my new videos that I got on there. And yeah, that's all we got today.
All right. Peace out. Fuckers.